The Lands Ministry is excited as the immediate gains its government's ban on mining in forest reserves and water bodies has chalked. The majority of miners in Ashanti and Western North regions have removed their equipment from the reserves as per directives that took effect less than a week ago. Listen to the Deputy Lands Minister nominee, Benito Owusu-Bill. To be in just a moment, but my colleague Ohiming Teria joined the minister to tour some areas, and he has joined us via Zoom. Ohiming, what more can you report? Right, Ohiming, please open your microphones so we can hear you. Right, there seems to be a slight glitch with our technical lines there. We will get back to Ohiming. Now, viewers would recall that initially the Land and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abu Jinapor declared that it was now illegal to mine in forest reserves even if you had an exploration license from the Minerals Commission. What he did was he declared a freeze on it. Soon after that, 200 military officials were deployed to ensure that mining in water bodies, which is illegal already, is not done. The videos you see on your screen are of some excavators which are being set ablaze on site, a decision government has taken following the difficulty it has faced in the past with tracking the seized excavators used by illegal miners. We will now reconnect with Ohiming Teria and get the latest from him as he joined the Deputy Minister Designate on tour. Ohiming, tell us what the minister observed and what were his thoughts. Right, Ohiming Teria, our man in the Ashanti region, will soon be joining us now. Of course, the Deputy Minister Designate, Benito Owusu-Bill, has been speaking to him. We understand Ohiming has rejoined us. Ohiming Teria, please go ahead. We'll go back to Ohiming soon. Now, government has deployed over 300 guards to patrol rivers as part of its efforts to reclaim the water bodies polluted as a result of illegal mining. Now, the Deputy Minister Designate for Land and Natural Resources, George Mekuduka, says the guards will be trained by the Marine Police to detect and report activities of illegal miners. He said this when officials of the University of Mines and Technology demonstrated to him a new method of cleaning the country's water bodies. Watch this.
The University of Mines and Technology spent 1 year to develop and test the technology. A test was first conducted in the Prop Basin to find out how it would assist in cleaning the country's water bodies. Vice Chancellor of the school, Richard Kwesi-Amankwa, who led the demonstration, assured government of the usefulness of the technology and explain how it would work.
There are particles that can settle by themselves when they fall into water. And there are particles that need to be helped to.
We will bring you the rest of that report later in the bulletin, but Ohiming has joined us. Ohiming, tell us about the Deputy Minister's tour.
Thank you, Daniel. It was actually a tour by the Deputy Lands Minister Designate with the officials of the Forestry Commission to inspect and see how the illegal miners had complied with government's directive on them to evacuate from mining sites that have been operating in forest reserves and then river bodies. So it was more or less a fact-finding tour to ascertain whether the illegal miners had complied. And with the 7 forest reserves that we visited, it was only one forest reserve, that is the Oda Forest Reserve in Ashanti region, that we actually found some excavators and dozers on site even when then the Deputy Minister, Benito Usubio, said he suspects these equipments are being used by the illegal miners at night. So he said what the team has found, they will forward the information to the Minister for Lands and then to the National Security Apparatus for an action to be taken on this particular incident. But we've been to the Subin shelter bed in Ashanti, and then also Bosomchin Forest Reserve, all in Ashanti region, then Tunnel of Fin. All these places were empty. Just only these two places, the Odan River Forest Reserve, and then the Tunnel of Fin River Forest Reserve. That is where 2 excavators were burnt by the team. So apart from this, in Ashanti region, we didn't find any illegal miners on site. Though they weren't on site, though, but in the Odan Forest Reserve instance, for instance, the private security personnel employed by the mining firm to protect their equipment were people who were around. And then in the Western North region, the team visited 2 forest reserves, the Akau Hills Forest Reserve and the Anyaso East Forest Reserve. In all these places, the team didn't find any illegal miner on site. They've already evacuated their equipment, and at a point, you could see that they've been off from site for some time. And the forestry officials tells me in these 2 forest reserves, they carried some exercises in February, and they also burnt 2 excavators. So the site of these 2 excavators greet any casual visitor to the forest reserve where the illegal miners had operated and also evacuated. But another incident that came up strongly is the fact that most of these equipments that have been evacuated from the forest reserves are being kept at the fringes of the forest reserve. In some instances, they are very close. Some are just at the boundary line of the forest reserve. And the Chief Executive for Forestry Commission, John Alote, expressed some fear that he feared that these people, when they are allowed, the likelihood of them moving to the forest reserve to mine, for instance, in the night, is very high. And so he promised to also relay information to the minister to the National Security Apparatus for also a discussion on this one to enforce the ban strictly, and also task the district forest managers to be on the lookout and monitor the movement of these illegal miners as far as the evacuation of the equipment are concerned, so that they can also alert them, the headquarters, and also take action on this particular incident. And so this was what we also picked from the trip. And later, in the Western North region, the team visited the president of the National House of Chiefs, who is also the paramount chief of Sehi Anyaso, Ojiahoho Yajibi II. And he expressed concern that in as much as government is prepared to burn down these excavators from the forest reserves, he supports the idea and promised the support of the National House of Chiefs and the NANUM as far as the fight of the illegal miners is concerned.
I mean, you mentioned earlier that some illegal miners were seen in some of the forest reserves. Were any arrests made?
No, no one was arrested. Like I said, it was a fact-finding mission. And once the team take information from the security personnel working for this private mining firm in the Oda River Forest Reserve, the indication was that the team will follow up and pass on the information to the National Security Apparatus. The Deputy Minister was a bit concerned that with 2 excavators that were spotted on the mining site, they were out of reach. They have been parked just beyond the banks of the Oda stream, which makes it difficult for the team to follow up to the scene. So he says he was going to relay the information to the minister because he suspects the illegal miners use these equipment at night to explore, gold from the forest reserve. So he insists that this is something that the ministry will take it up. So as we speak now, no arrest has been made as far as the toll is concerned.
Ohiming, we understand that after the 200 military personnel were deployed to guard the water bodies, 200 police personnel have also been deployed. Did the minister shed some light on why this deployment was done?
Not at all. The minister did not provide any information or speak to this issue, but I must say on the day 2 of our tour to the Western North, then we did meet some police officers, and they had already branded themselves in uniforms. That's an inscription read Vanguard. So I suspect probably they are part of the 200 police personnel that government is deploying to these illegal mining sites in the forest reserves. So on that matter, on that subject, the minister did not mention, say anything on that one.
Ohiming Terry, thank you very much for those updates. Let's now